everybody! Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. I'm Jessie from The Living Platter, and welcome to our platter making workshop brought to you by Bulk Barn. Today we're going to be making a fabulous holiday-themed platter. I'm going to take you through everything from start to finish, show you all of our tips and tricks along the way, and by the end, we're all going to have a beautiful platter in front of us. Now, before we begin, just a couple housekeeping items to go over, and then we'll get started. So, a little bit about ourselves and The Living Platter. The Living Platter is our business we started in 2019, and we offer plant-based platters and grazing tables. We absolutely adore being part of our clients' most special events like their weddings and birthday parties. Truly nothing makes us happier than creating for you guys. Now, on top of our platter offerings, we also host in-person workshops, virtual workshops, and we have online masterclasses available on our website, thelivingplatter.com. When the Bulk Barn reached out to us about collaborating on this project, we were truly like over the moon. It's such a perfect pairing, them with all of their beautiful food options, and then us with the food styling expertise. So we're so grateful that the day is finally here. It's truly been like months and months and months of works in progress, and here we are finally all together. Okay, I'm gonna be the one in front of the camera for the next little bit, leading you through our creative process, but behind the camera and in the chat taking care of you guys is my best friend and business partner, Leanne. Get in here. Hi.
Please send me your questions and comments. I really look forward to chatting with you in the live chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from, how you heard about the workshop today. Have so much fun, and I'll see you all again when it's all done.
Yay, thanks so much, Lee. Yeah, please keep her busy in the chat. We really want this hour to be like really inclusive and fun, very interactive for all of us. On that note, this is a really special time. We all took an hour out of our very busy schedules, and I feel like we could all use a moment of relaxation, tap into our creativity and that joy, and really just, I want you to tune out all the other noise and just get into the creative process with us today. That's truly what it is all about. Okay, we're gonna jump into the goodness very soon. Before we start creating, I'm just gonna run through what you guys had on your shopping list. So maybe you saw your shopping list in your local flyer, on Facebook, or on Instagram. So these are the items that we're gonna be using to create our platter together today. So I'm just gonna run through really quickly so you can gather your supplies as I'm chatting. That way we all have all of the ingredients in front of us before we jump into creating. Okay, let me start. So here I have my hard vegan cheese. So whatever hard cheese you have, you're gonna want your soft cheese as well. We're gonna move next to, you want to make sure you have your chocolate bar, and we're gonna also do our dried fruits. So make sure you have your dried figs, your dried apricots. We have our candied ginger here as well. For our fresh fruits, we have our blueberries, your strawberries, you're gonna want your orange and your pomegranate. For something savory, we're gonna have our pickles and our olives. We also have our crackers. You have your sourdough pretzels. You have all of your nuts, so make sure you have your walnuts, your pistachios, as well as your maple almonds. We have our chocolate-covered cranberries. We have our coconut chips, which we'll use at the end. You have your cinnamon sticks, and you have your garnishes like your sage and your thyme as well. Okay, those are everything that was on the shopping list. Some items that you may not have thought of that are gonna be really useful as we create today are a cutting board, because we're gonna be cutting up some of our fruits. So I'm gonna be using a larger chef knife like so, as well as a smaller paring knife. And then, because creating can get a little messy, Leanne will tell you I am the messy one out of the two of us. She's always cleaning up my messes. Okay, so make sure you have some paper towel and tea towels as well, just so we can wipe down our cutting board as we go, as well as like a green bin, garbage bin, recycling. Just will help keep your workspace nice and neat and tidy. Okay. Before we start placing anything onto the plate or platter that we will be creating on today, we're going to be doing some prep work. Now, prepping before creating is really important. It just makes sure that everything's ready to go to be placed on the platter, keeps your work area nice and clean, and helps you get in the creative flow. Once we start creating, we love just to have the freedom to grab and place as we go and not worry about like cutting on the side. So we're going to jump into the prep right now. Oh my gosh, I feel so much better now. I have food in front of me. Okay, so the first item that we're gonna prep is your hard cheese. So I'm gonna grab mine here and just place it on my cutting board. Now, whatever hard cheese you're using, we're gonna be using this vegan smoked cheddar. Super, super delicious. Now, with your hard cheese on your platters, a super easy way to incorporate that is just doing like little cubes. But we're gonna do something a little bit more fancy today, and I'll show you how we can do that right now. So as you can see, I have my block. There's a longer edge here and a shorter edge here. I'm gonna be cutting the shorter edge. And I'm just going to cut a little strip off like so. And so you guys can follow along at home, and I'm gonna do 5 of these. So you want 5 rectangles all together, and then I'll show you how we can cut them into fancy little triangles. When you're shopping for your platter ingredients, the best part about making platters is you can really shop for like whatever you enjoy. Shop to your own taste and your own preferences, and pick up stuff that you know your guests are going to be excited about. Okay, one more here. Beautiful. So now I have my 5 rectangles here. I'm just going to move this off to the side, out of my way. And we're going to turn these into little triangles. And to do that, all you're going to have to do is cut from one tip to the other on a diagonal line. So I'll show you right now. Just like so. Really get it lined up so you get a nice crisp cut. And then you have these beautiful triangles. And I'm going to do that for the rest of them here. And you want to make sure that you're cut confidently is what I will say, so you get that nice crisp line. So I'm going to go through and do this for all of them. So we're all going to end up with 10 triangles. Now at home, let's say you bought a hard cheese that's a little bit different than mine. Just get innovative. Maybe you do cubes. Maybe you figure out a new way to make it into a triangle shape. Whatever you end up doing, I'll show you how we can place it on our platter once we start building. And truly, they do not have to be perfect at all. Cutting them this way also makes it nice and easy for your guests to enjoy, so they can just grab a little triangle to snack on. Makes it a little bit easy for the snacking. Okay, so I have mine. I just naturally couldn't help myself. I already made them into a little pretty fan here. You don't have to do that at all as long as you have your 10 triangles, and we're just gonna put these off to the side. Okay, wonderful. Let me grab my paper towel here. I'll just do a little wipe down of the cutting board and our knife. The next item that we're gonna move on to prepping is our chocolate. Bulk Barn has such a wonderful variety of vegan chocolates. We absolutely adore this brand, the Zazu Bean. They have such fun flavors. When you're shopping for platters, thinking about finding familiar ingredients for people, so like who doesn't love chocolate? But then we like to elevate it in a new way, so when they're enjoying the platter and digging in, it's really like an experience for your guests. And you can do that by finding unique flavors from familiar items. So for example, this one is pomegranate and hazelnut. Just something unique and a little bit special, and it's gonna make your board memorable for people. Okay, so I have our chocolate bar unwrapped here. And instead of cutting perfect rows, I'm actually just gonna use my hands, and I'm gonna break off 3 pieces like this. Beautiful. And they don't have to be perfect at all, and then I'm gonna go in and half these. So you're gonna end up with 6 pieces of chocolate. And I like breaking them with my hands. I think it just adds like that rustic feel, especially we're creating a holiday board. It's like very warm, very inviting. So we have our 6 pieces of chocolate here. And same thing, I'm just gonna place these off to the side, like so. Okay, wonderful. Give a little wipe down. This is the neatest I will ever be is when I'm on camera. Okay, fabulous. Let's move on to our dried fruits. Now we have our dried figs here. A dried fig, super yummy. You could just pop it on your platter just like so, but we're gonna do something that adds a little extra level of interest. So I'm just gonna grab my smaller knife now, my paring knife, and all I'm gonna do is cut my fig in half like this. And that exposes the beautiful inside. And this way we're creating a new texture, and it's a little bit easier for people to grab from the plate, platter, or board that you're serving. So I'm gonna cut 5 of my figs in half. So that means I'm gonna end up with 10 fig halves to work with on our board. So I'm gonna do that now. You guys can keep cutting. I'm gonna show you another trick for cutting. So you can cut straight down your fig, like so, and you get this sort of shape. But if you wanted more of like a disc or a round shape, you can cut the other direction, like this. And you're gonna have a larger surface area exposed on the middle and get more of that texture. So that's just an easy way to kind of add your own spin to things. You can choose which way you want to cut your figs, and you could do both even if you wanted to. Let's just make sure that we all have our 10 halves ready to go for creating. 2, 4, 6. And I'll cut these last two here. I like doing mine in half because I just like how they look kind of this long ways. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, beautiful. This is when like my counting by twos would like go out one ear and I would totally forget. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna put these to the side. The next dried fruit item that we're gonna grab is our apricots. Now for our apricots, we're gonna be using whole ones while we create our platter, but at the end, we're gonna be adding apricot stars. And to do that, we're gonna grab 3 of our fattest, juiciest apricots that you have. I'm gonna put these on my board right now. And in order to create this star shape, I'm going to be using this cute little cookie cutter. Bulk Barn has such an amazing variety of like seasonal cookie cutters. We love going in there and seeing what they have. And cookie cutters are no longer just for cookies. I feel like someone should put that on a shirt for me. We love incorporating this little trick into our platters. It just makes things like you get a recognizable shape in such an easy way. So if you want to do something that's much more seasonal, it's a really easy way to incorporate that shape. So like for us doing the stars for the holidays. To do our stars, I'm going to take my apricot here and I'm going to pat down with the palm of my hand to flatten it out here for us. You want to get as much surface area as possible. So when you line up your little star, it fits perfectly in the middle. And you're just going to do one firm press down. And then I'm going to push it through this way so I get a nice clean break, like so. And then you can pop out your beautiful star from the center. And you have a perfect apricot star. Now, as you're doing this, if it doesn't work perfectly, and maybe your apricots are a little bit smaller, do not worry, you're still going to get the same effect. And when you're creating a platter especially, you're working with fresh ingredients, like you can't guarantee the exact same result every time. That's when thinking outside of the box and really allowing yourself to be creative and relaxed while you're creating is, yeah, it's a really beautiful thing and helps the process go a lot smoother when you're not attached to the end result as much. Okay, beautiful. We're gonna do 3 of these stars. So I have 1, 2, and I'm gonna do 1 more right now. Some examples of other ways we've used cookie cutters in our Valentine's Day platters. We did strawberry hearts, so you can use your cookie cutters with fruit. We did like an under the sea themed platter one time, and we did watermelon seashells that we got seashell cookie cutters from the Bulk Barn. Okay, and I'm gonna pop this one through, just like so. It's also fun, like if you're doing a birthday, like you could do a charcuterie board and then do the birthday guy, gal number as well. So like they're turning 13, 16, really fun way. Okay. Do we all have our 3 gorgeous stars? I wish I could see you guys creating away right now. I'm going to place these to the side. I'm just going to toss these into my green bin down here and move my cookie cutter out of the way. Okay, moving on from our dried fruit, we're going to go into our fresh fruit. And we're going to start cutting our strawberries. And we're going to use whole strawberries on our platter, but we're gonna do up 2 strawberries right now in a fancy way. So the first way is you're just gonna grab your whole strawberry. I'm gonna grab my larger knife for this. And all we're gonna do is cut straight down, and you're gonna create little strawberry rings like so. And you wanna grab maybe like a medium or large strawberry to do this with, so you get these nice big chunks. And you wanna cut so you get about 3 or 4 slices through. I'm just gonna save these 3 for myself. And these details, the way we're cutting our strawberries, we're gonna use them at the end. So we're prepping now, and these are gonna be some of the final touches. So you have your beautiful strawberry fan like this, pop this one off to the side. That one's basic. I'm sure you guys nailed it. We'll move on to something a little bit more complex. So we're going to create a strawberry flower. Excuse me as I get rid of these dirty ones. To create our strawberry flower, I'm going to use, again, a medium to large strawberry. And this time I'm going to grab my little paring knife. And just like this, I'm going to cut around the circumference of my strawberry. And here what we're going to do is create a zigzag pattern. So I'll show you right now. And you want to imagine you're pressing like halfway through your strawberry as you go all the way around. Like you're making little mountain tops. And we're going to connect our first cut with our last cut here. So you want to make sure you go all the way around, pressing gently. You don't want to cut all the way through your strawberry. Just imagine you're pressing halfway through. And I'm just going to concentrate here. And I'm going to find the first cut that I made. And your strawberry is going to pop apart for you just like this. You're going to end up with a beautiful strawberry flower. This is such a fun little tip and trick to do with your fruit. And cutting fruit like this in that flower shape, it actually works for like any circle fruit that you have. So we do it for kiwis a lot. On our larger grazing tables, we've done oranges this way. We've done grapefruits that way. So it's a really fun way to experiment and add like a level of intrigue to your fruit. Again, this is what we're going to be using at the end to add some final details to our plate. So I'm just going to pop these to the side. If you ever need to refresh your fruit cutting skills, or this piques your interest and you want to learn more, we have so many fruit cutting tutorials on our Instagram, The Living Platter, so you can check us out there and watch through and practice. And then send me videos and photos of what you make, please. Please, please, please. Okay, moving on from our strawberries, I'm going to grab our orange. Now with our orange, we don't have to do anything fancy. We're just going to cut like little after-school snack size bites, basically. Little slices like so. I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to start at one end and cut straight down. And we're going to just cut 2 circles off here. Just concentrate for a second while I use this large knife. Okay, this one I'm just going to place to the side for myself so you guys can see nice and clear. And we have our 2, it smells so good. We have our 2 circles here. We're just going to cut these straight in half. So today we all have our oranges if you shopped along with the shopping list, but using citrus in this way, you can really shop for whatever citrus that you want. And when we build our platter, you'll see how beautifully it can outline the side of your board and incorporates like this vibrant pop of color into your plate. So I'm going to move these 4 slices out of my way just over here. A really beautiful fruit that we've seen in the grocery store a lot are persimmons. When we shop for platters, we like to have an open mind in the grocery store especially, and just look for what's in season and what looks the freshest and most delicious. It's a really nice way to guarantee that you're going to have an on-themed, on-season board is just looking around in the grocery store and seeing what speaks to you and what new items are there. Okay, wonderful. Moving on from our orange, we're going to use our pomegranate. Now, for your pomegranate, you might want to put down like a paper towel or something to protect your cutting board. I'm just going to go for it here. Pomegranates just scream holiday to us, and I love it when they start appearing in the grocery store. It means that Christmas is coming. For our pomegranate, all we're going to need for our platter today is just a quarter. So I'm going to make a quarter right now. I'm going to start by cutting straight down the center. Need a little muscle power for this one. So we'll get it in half like this. Oh, so beautiful. And I'm going to take my smaller half because I have a little bit of a smaller plate we're working on when we build our platter. And I'm going to cut it into another quarter here as well. Now, because we're just using 1/4 and we don't want to waste any of our food, make sure that you save the rest of your pomegranate. You can snack on the seeds. We really try to minimize our food waste as we create. We love freezing a lot of our fruit for smoothies or using them for juices. So let me look at what quarter looks best. Okay, I'm going to use this one for our platter. And I'm going to just place these ones to the side for myself. And sorry if you're wearing white like me. Hopefully I'd get none of this on me. Just clean up your cutting board, clean up your space. Okay, beautiful. Make it nice and neat for you guys. Okay, we've done a lot of our sweet items. We're gonna move on to something savory. And this is actually the last item that we have to prep before we can get into the juicy stuff of creating. And that is with our pickles. Now, mini pickles are so delicious on their own. I mean, who doesn't love that like savory goodness and that crunch? But we like to add an extra level of interest, kind of similar to our figs. We like to cut them in half, and it just exposes a different texture on the inside, like so. So you guys can join along. I'm gonna do 5 of these in half, so we're gonna have 10 slices in total. You can just cut straight through. And when we actually place these on our platter, we're gonna build up a little pile, and then we're gonna alternate the textures. So you can see already how that makes a difference. It just adds like that another level of interest to your plate. So you have like the bumpy and the smooth and the bumpy and the smooth. So let me get all of our slices together here. Are you guys fans of pickles? Team olive or team pickles? Let Leanne know in the chat. Leanne actually didn't like olives until we started making platters together, so I feel like that's a personal accomplishment of mine, is making her fall in love with olives. Okay, perfect. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And I'm just gonna pop these back in my bowl. Wonderful. And you guys will see when we start creating, the colors that we shop for are all gonna come together really, really nicely. You'll see how the greens work with the oranges and the reds, and how it creates something festive and holiday without like screaming Christmas at you. All right, are you guys even ready? I can't believe we finally get to start creating. I'm gonna swap out my cutting board for my plate, and I'll be right back. So today we're gonna be creating on just this 10 by 10 dinner plate. I know we see all of the platter inspo all over Instagram, and you think you need something fancy, but you really don't. Today we're just turning a regular old dinner plate into something gorgeous. So please don't feel like you have to go out and shop for anything excessive. It's really just a matter of getting creative and using what you have in your kitchen. And I hope that you see that as we create today. Okay, our blank canvas, how very exciting. What we're gonna go in with first is our 4 orange slices. And I'm gonna line these on this side of my plate. Now, obviously at home you might be working with a different plate or platter. So take my cues, but use your own judgment as well for what you think is gonna look best with the surface that you have in front of you, whatever you're creating on. So I'm gonna line my 4 orange slices right here. These smell so delicious, just like that. And as I mentioned before, you could do this with any citrus. Like if you wanted more of a tropical feel, you could do some limes. If you wanted something bright and yellow, you could do like a lemon. But oranges are nice for people to snack on as well. Okay, we have our line of oranges down the side. We're going to jump in and place our hard cheese as well as our soft cheese. So whatever hard cheese you have, I'm gonna start placing my triangles just like this in a little fan shape. And now as we create, you're going to see how much I like to connect things. I love having things touching and looking really cohesive. I think that just elevates the platter to a new level and makes it look very professional. So I'm gonna stack my cheese slices like this. As we build our platters together, one of my main tips is to build up instead of building flat. So create a volume as you add your items. So as you can see, these sitting on top of each other already creates a great height, and we're getting like a depth and texture to our platter going already. This guy's a little funky. I'm gonna swap him out for this nicer looking triangle that I did and place it on top right here. Okay, beautiful. From our hard cheese, we're gonna go into our soft cheese. So we have a vegan brie here that we're working with, and I'm gonna place this right in the middle of my plate with a point facing my bottom orange here. So if you're working with a triangle and you wanna orient your plate the same as mine, just place the tip of the triangle facing the end of your plate right here. If you're working with a circle, just place your circle cheese right in the middle. You're gonna be able to build around everything the exact same, just like this. Okay, wonderful. I love having like that bright white cheese, and also shopping for cheeses that are gonna have different taste and texture is gonna add to your guest experience as they dig in and enjoy your platter. Okay, what is cheese without some crackers? So the crackers that we have here today to work with are these nice long ones. These are sourdough crackers. We absolutely love using them, and we love how they sit on our plate. I'm gonna show you how I'll place them right now. Now, whatever crackers you have, just line them up against the cheese that you're working with the best that you can. These long ones, I'm going to use about 8 of them. So you can use your own judgment for what you think is an appropriate amount to match up with the amount of cheese that you have on your plate or platter. Now, let's say you bought circle crackers and they're a little unruly and they're a little hard to stack up and they're going all over the place like this. We're going to use, this is like one of the tips that we use all the time. We're going to grab 2 of your strawberries and you're going to use them as bookends for your board for your crackers to help your board stay nice and neat. So I'm going to grab 1 strawberry here and 1 strawberry here. And I'm going to use the strawberries to push my crackers together, and they're going to stay in a much easier way for me. Now, if you have little circle crackers and they're going this way, you could use your strawberries as bookends like this to keep them nice and neat on your plate. These guys, I don't actually need them. They're going to stand up by themselves for me, which is wonderful. Hopefully, they will cooperate. Okay, perfect. From our crackers, let's jump into something sweet, and we're going to grab our chocolate. For our chocolate, these little pieces that we have, I'm going to line them up here, right next to each other. So I'm going to do, maybe I should have done my strawberries. I'm going to do a little row of 3 here, and then a little row of 3 here. And then before everything falls over on me again, I'm actually going to grab that quarter of the pomegranate that we had, and I'm going to use that to help everything stand up. And this makes the pomegranate kind of the star of the show at the front of your plate. And you get that beautiful pop of red, and it just sings holiday, so people know exactly what they're getting into when they dive into your platter and take a look at your platter. We also like to have the pomegranate kind of hiding the chocolate. One of our favorite pieces of feedback that we get about platters when people enjoy, they're like, there was just so much stuff to enjoy and you keep uncovering new bits and pieces as you go. It just makes the platter process like so enjoyable. So if your pomegranate is covering your chocolate, do not worry. Okay, fabulous. The next item we're gonna grab is our pretzels. These big sourdough pretzels from Bulk Barn. We were so excited when we found these, and we're gonna use about 6 of them. And I'm gonna line them up nice and neat. And if you didn't get a chance to try out the strawberry trick with your crackers, you can do it now. I'm gonna do that as well to keep these pretzels in place. So I'm gonna make a nice neat pile, and I'm gonna tuck it in between my soft cheese and my hard cheese right here. And before they fall over, I'm going to use my strawberries as bookends and just place them right here and 1 at the front to keep everything nice and neat and organized for me. When we do our grazing tables, and like let's say we had to fill this whole table, this trick is like a lifesaver with the crackers because you can really set them up wherever you want and they're gonna stay and not move around on you. It gives you something to help like build around as you start adding your other items. Okay, speaking of adding other items, we're going to start adding our dried fruits. So we cut our dried figs. We have our regular apricots to work with, not the stars, not just yet. And then we have our candied ginger as well. And what we're gonna do with these dried fruits is we're gonna create a symmetrical pile of 1 at the front and 1 at the back. So let me go in with my figs first. And I'm going to create a little pile up at the front here for myself, like so. And as we're creating, you really want to think of piling things up so you get that volume rather than things sitting flat. Do a pile at the front, and whatever I do to the front, I'm gonna mirror in the back. So I'm gonna take my figs and do a little pile back here near my cheese. And building up, building up, building up. Okay, fabulous. It might take a little bit of a balancing act sometimes to get the height that you want. Okay, and that's perfect. That's all of my fig halves. The next one that I'm going to grab are my dried apricots, and we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go in and build a pile at the front here next to my figs, and then a pile at the back as well. And as you're building, feel free to kind of assess your plate and your platter. If it's bigger than mine, maybe you need to use more of your items, and if it's smaller, maybe use a little less. And you can already see how the beautiful orange from the apricots just incorporates the orange from our orange so nicely. And as you place your items, don't be afraid to have things overlap. So as you can see here, I already have like an apricot kind of creeping onto my crackers, so I'm going to mimic that over here as well. I'll grab one of these guys and place it here. Okay, fabulous. And the last item out of our dried fruit is our candied ginger. We chose the candied ginger. We just love the look of like the sugar on the outside. It looks so fabulous, almost like snow, so perfect for the holidays. The Bulk Barn aisles are like, I feel like a kid in a candy store in there in terms of like the number of options that they have for their dried fruit. So you can really shop to your own preference and what you enjoy. Okay, let's build these little piles here. So one at the back, like so. And just keep stacking until you get that consistent height, so everything's sitting around the same level. And a pile here at the front as well. Just go right here. Using this rule of symmetry, like what you do to the front of your platter, you're going to do to the back of your platter. It really is like a golden rule that's going to make whatever you create turn out really beautiful, and your plate's going to look really balanced that way. So I know sometimes it's like overwhelming. You want to start creating and you have this big blank space in front of you. So keeping that trick in mind will really take some of the guesswork out of it for you. Create this here. Build that beautiful height up for ourselves. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to add one more. And one more back here. A little design rule that is also going to help your platter look really professional is called the rule of 3. Now this is something you'll probably see in a lot of like, imagine you're walking into a beautifully decorated home. What you're gonna see on the wall is like 3 photos, and then you see that vase to the side and it's like one big vase and 2 smaller vases. For some reason, the number 3 or 3 of something is really appealing to the human eye. So as you're creating, and I build my piles, I actually did this subconsciously a lot before I even learned this. Having 3, like so for example, having your 3 apricots sitting on top of your pile, 3 here, a group of 3 ginger, a group of 3 ginger, it just really helps keep everything appealing. And if you're like second guessing what something should look like, just put 3 of it and I promise it will look beautiful. Now obviously you don't have to stick to that to a T. Like here you can see it's not exactly, but it's just something to keep in mind if you feel like something looks off on your plate or board. Okay, we have these beautiful piles. It's time to incorporate some green, and we're gonna do that in the form of our pickles and our olives. I'm gonna grab my pickles. I'm actually just gonna shift this little cheese fan a little bit to the side, and I'm gonna fit my pile of pickles in the back here. Now, do this wherever you see fit. I just have a nice space right here between my softer cheese and my hard cheese. And for this, I'm just gonna start piling up my pickles one at a time and really taking my time to make sure that they're gonna sit nicely for me. And then when it comes time to place the final ones on top, I'm gonna alternate like we talked about while we were cutting them. A good thing to keep in mind when you're adding those savory items like a pickle and like an olive is they have a very strong taste. So you want to place them next to something where if like the pickle gets on the cheese, it's not going to be a big deal at all. But like if you're serving your pickles right next to your chocolate and your guest is eating chocolate that tastes like pickles, they may just never come back over. So let's avoid that if we can. Okay, let's build this pile at the back. Looks so stunning. I'm gonna grab one more and place it right here. So you can see I have that alternating one open, one of the rough texture at the back, and then a smoother texture here. And to keep going with the green theme, I'm gonna go in with my olives. And the olives, the rule of symmetry here still applies, so I'm going to place some at the front. You can see there's like a little gap between my olive and chocolate, so I'll add something between there that will act as a buffer for those flavors in just a second. I'm going to build it up here and build up some olives at the back as well. And the olives obviously touching the pickles is no problem at all. And it's always nice, you can adjust to your taste and preferences. If you're more of a savory person, doing more items like having a variety of olives and a variety of pickles and maybe some savory jellies, or if you're more of a sweet person, going in with those extra fruits, extra dried fruits, maybe extra chocolate, that's going to really help you tailor to what you know you enjoy, which is what food is really all about. Okay, we have the beautiful green tones that are incorporating themselves so nicely with our oranges and with this pop of white that we have going on. I'm going to go in and fill in our blank spaces. So whatever blank spaces you have on your board right now, we're going to fill them in with our nuts. So we have our pistachios, our walnuts, as well as our maple covered almonds. Bulk Barn has such a great variety of like flavored nuts and seeds. So it's really fun to shop in their aisles and see, yeah, try a new flavor. And like we were talking about with the chocolate, instead of it just being a regular almond, there's an extra level of flavor and interest that you're adding for people to enjoy. This is like my golden rule of platters, is to fill in all of the blank spaces. So I'm going to start with my walnuts, and any blank spots I see on my plate or board, I'm going to go in and fill those in. So I have like this big white spot right here. I'm going to go in with my walnuts, building them up just like this. And at the back here or maybe the side, right next to my crackers. Beautiful. I can't believe the holiday season is like almost upon us. This date crept up on me so fast, I can't even tell you. Okay, we have our walnuts. I'm gonna go in with our almonds next. So like I said, these are the maple ones that we chose just to have that festive flavor. But I know they have like tamari covered ones, which are also would be so delicious. And I'm gonna put these in. Remember I said I was gonna put a little buffer between my chocolate and my olives. I'm gonna do that with my almonds. And since I made a pile at the front, I'm gonna make a similar pile at the back here. I'm just gonna let them fall in. There's something about creating platters that is so relaxing, even when you're on camera. When we first started making platters, I was like, oh my gosh, I would do this for free for the rest of my life. So I think that's when you know you found something good. Okay, perfect. This little pile at the back. And last I have these beautiful green pistachios. The green is a great contrasting color, and it helps draw in the greens from our pickles and our olives as well. I'm gonna take a nice handful of these, and I'm gonna do some right back here. Fill in this blank space that I have. Beautiful. And at the end, we'll do like a little final assessment as well. So if you're seeing any blank spaces, don't worry. We have a couple more ingredients to come, and I'll show you how you can fill in any of those spots at the end. So no matter what, your platter is gonna look really full and voluminous. Okay, beautiful. And I'm gonna match that green at the front here. Perfect. And create that pile for ourselves. I feel like this season, everyone's gonna be doing so much entertaining now that we can see each other and hang out all together. So this will be a perfect time for you guys to show off all these skills and impress all your friends and family. The green pops so nicely next to the red here. Yeah, it's a way, the green and red is a really nice way to incorporate those Christmas colors. But like I said, this platter doesn't like scream Christmas. It's just like very like subtle and sophisticated. And I'll just grab a couple more here. Okay, I hope your board is looking so beautiful and full. The next item that we're gonna include is our blueberries. The blueberries are gonna add this beautiful blue, like jewel tone to our plate. And you can already see, even as I hold it on top of my platter here, it just helps all the other colors pop and adds that contrasting moment. So I'm going to have a little blank space back here. I'm going to fill that in with the blueberries, creating a pile. When we create platters for clients, we are like so crazy and we go through literally all the blueberries and make sure there's no squishy ones. Depending on how much you love your friends and family, maybe you can do that for them too. We'll do our pile here. And I'm going to mimic that, but do it at the back here next to my orange apricots. That blue and orange is so stunning together. As you can see, everything comes together so quickly and beautifully when you're using those simple tips like having the symmetry, building things up. I'm going to place these on top. When you're shopping in the grocery store, looking for items that are the freshest. So even if you go with something in mind that you really want, but sometimes we go and we really want blueberries and they just don't look the best. You just have to be innovative, go with the flow, and we'll shop for blackberries instead, maybe do strawberries. So really shopping for what's going to be the most delicious, because it's important that it looks pretty, but it's also maybe even more important that it tastes so good. Okay, wonderful. To me, that looks stunning. I can't believe we're almost at the end. What the heck? Okay, we're going to go in with our chocolate-covered cranberries next. The Bulk Barn has such a wonderful variety of chocolate-covered items. My personal favorite are the chocolate-covered coffee beans. Oh my goodness. I could eat those like all day, which I probably shouldn't. But we chose the cranberries just to stick with that festive holiday theme. And I'm going to go in and place a little bit on top of my crackers here, actually. And this dark brown tone is really beautiful, kind of cools everything down a little bit, or warms everything up with that warm tone. And you can see I have my strawberry right here, and I'm going to cover that up with my chocolate, but make sure it doesn't touch any of my pickles. I'm just going to move this to the side. Okay, beautiful. And maybe a little pile at the back here. I really hate having any blank spots on our platters. Sometimes we even go in with like flashlights to make sure that the flashlight on our phone to make sure that we didn't miss any spaces. Okay, cool. I hope your board is looking wonderful and that all the colors are shining and that everything is coming together so great for you guys. We're going to move on to some of our final touches. Now, what I'm going to grab first are these beautiful coconut chips. The ones that the Bulk Barn has are so stunning because they have like the skin on them still, and then they fade to like this beautiful brown. And coconut chips are like a Living Platter signature. We've been doing this from the very beginning, sprinkling coconut chips on top of the cheese, and it really helps bring those two white tones together. So if you have a triangle cheese like me, I'm going to go in and put it on the thickest part right here. And just do a sprinkle like so. If you have a circle cheese, maybe think of doing like a semicircle or a half moon to really outline that shape for yourself. Wonderful. You could even do this with like the smaller little coconut flakes, like the ones that you would like bake with. You probably have that in your cupboard already, and that actually really looks like snow if you want to go all out for the holidays. Okay, that is enough for me, and you can see it adds another level of detail on top of our cheese as opposed to it just sitting there by itself. Remember, it feels like long ago that we made these beautiful strawberries for ourselves. So if you have a larger plate or platter that you're working on and you wanted to add both of these strawberry details back, go for it. So we have our strawberry flowers here, and we also have our fanned strawberry like this. I think doing both on this plate is going to be a little bit of overkill, so I'm just going to do my strawberry fan, and I'm going to run these red colors from the pomegranate all the way up to my white cheese and just have it sit here so beautifully for ourselves. Just like so. But you could, of course, if you wanted to, go in with your strawberry flower. Looks so stunning. I also think a kiwi flower would look really pretty on a plate like this. Again, we have all those videos on our Instagram at The Living Platter. Okay, let's get some more green going in here. And that will come in the form of our sage and our thyme. Using fresh herbs for the holidays is so simple and easy. Maybe you're growing some. The grocery stores have so many of them out right now. It's just a really beautiful way to incorporate something that brings a little extra life, a little extra detail, has that festive green tone to it. In the summertime, we used a lot of edible and food-safe flowers, but as we transition into the colder months, all of our pansies died. So we're happy to use our herbs like this. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bunch like this, and I actually put my sage and my thyme together. And this adds two different textures. So although they're a very similar tone of green, having those two textures just looks so beautiful together. And I'm going to just pop them in. Maybe I'll move at one of these chocolate covered cranberries right back here between my strawberry, my sourdough pretzels, and I have my cheese right here. I love having it tucked in somewhere and like blossoming out of your board versus then just placing it and having it lay flat on top. Just like this, I'll just play around with it a little bit here. And you could shop for rosemary as well, like a sprig of rosemary would look so stunning on your plate and also is very, very, very festive. Okay, do you remember when we made those beautiful apricot stars? Now is their time to shine. Lan's heard me say this joke about 12 times, but these will be the star of the show. And we're gonna place them on our platter now. The only rule I have with these is don't place them directly on your apricots because everything's just gonna blend in together. You don't want everything to blur together. You want these guys to really stand out. So I'm gonna place them here against the green. I'm gonna do two at the front so my guests or whoever's enjoying can really see them. And then I'm gonna take this final one and just pop it at the back right here. Maybe, yeah, so it's touching my cheese. And you can see how you could really do as many stars as you wanted, but the three of them, it just makes that little extra level of interest without being like totally overboard. When you're doing your cookie cutters, like to do the star shapes, that's like a fun activity to let your kiddos do if they wanted to get involved. Super fun and easy for them to be incorporated in. And you can get them doing all sorts of shapes for you and a little bit safer than using a knife because it's just a cookie cutter. Okay, we are going to grab our, drum roll, our cinnamon sticks. This is such a beautiful final touch. They smell like Christmas, they look like Christmas, they just scream holiday. So we shopped for two of these from the bulk barn, and you could place these however you like on your platter or board, but what I'm gonna do is place them front and center and have them cross like this. I don't wanna hide my star. Maybe I'll have to move my star. Yeah, I'll put this guy here. Okay, wonderful. And I'm gonna bring my sage and my thyme out, have them crossed at the front like there. Okay, perfect. And also if you didn't wanna hide your cheese and crackers, I really like the look of everything kind of being very cohesive, but you could very easily just place these on the side to have them framing your work as well. But I love them crossed up here, front and center for everyone to see. Of course, they were sitting so well and then I moved them. Okay, wonderful. Oh my goodness, I hope you have a beautiful platter in front of you. Before we call it done, I'm just gonna encourage everyone to take a step back, have a look through your plate and notice if there's any blank spots, anything that you wanted to move around. When we do this, we like to fill in with like a smaller item. So you could go back in with some blueberries if you have any blank spaces and fill in. So I can see a lot of my strawberry here. So I'm just gonna take a couple blueberries and add them in here. Maybe a couple of our walnuts back here. Actually, I'm gonna do another piece of ginger. So now's the time just to add those final details and touches. This is when you can really be particular and picky and take a look around and shift anything around that you need to. When you're building, like absolutely nothing is set in stone. If you don't love something, just move it, try new things. Practice truly makes perfect when it comes to platters. And is anything ever gonna be perfect? No, but it will be delicious, and that's really what matters. Place this here, place this here. Yeah, I'm really sad I can't see all of your platters right now. So if you followed along and built one with us today, please send us photos, tag us at The Living Platter and Bulk Barn as well so we can share and I can see your beautiful work because I feel like I'm missing out on some masterpieces right now. I'm gonna do one final look over. I think everything is looking fabulous. I will also mention that this entire video is going to be recorded and posted so you can share with your family and friends if there's someone that you think would enjoy learning. And if you wanted to come back and build this platter again, it's so perfect because you already have your shopping list and you already have this video to follow along with. So at your next family gathering, you can like blow everyone away and have this platter be the centerpiece on your table. It'll look so stunning and everyone will be like, oh my gosh, apricot stars, where did you learn that? You'd be like, The Living Platter, Bulk Barn. Okay, wonderful. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in today. If you have any final questions, pop them in the chat. Hopefully we'll be able to get to all of you guys. Is there anything? Okay,
well, someone wants to know the top do not do's.
The top do not do's. Okay, that's a great question. Let me think. Do not put your pickles or your olives on something that they're gonna make soggy. So do not put them on your pretzels and do not put them on your crackers. That's a big one. And do not place them next to like a sweet item like your chocolate. Do not be afraid to try new things and shop for new exciting ingredients. Yeah, try something new from the Bulk Barn aisles that you haven't. What else are my do nots? Do you have any?
No, but someone's wondering where they can find the shopping list.
Oh, the shopping list is on Bulk Barn's Facebook page as well as Bulk Barn's Instagram page and in your local flyer. So if you weren't able to shop with us today, you can come back and recreate it, do your shop, and then have all the ingredients and literally just follow along all over again. And you'll end up with the exact same creation that we have in front of us now. Yeah. I'm trying to think of more do nots. I don't know.
Just don't second guess yourself.
Yeah.
Let it flow.
Yeah, the best part about platters is that you can actually just break all the rules as you go. I break all my own rules all the time. Okay, Lee, you want to get in here? Thank you guys all so much for joining us today. Yeah, this hour truly flew by and we're just so grateful we got to spend this time with you guys and get creative. A huge thank you to our beautiful production team that's behind us that made all of our dreams come true and made everything look picture perfect today. Nicole and NSHAPS Productions, we truly couldn't have done it without you. We literally would have been filming on our phones and everything would have gone wrong.
Thank you so much to Michelle Berwick Design for letting us use her wonderful space today. Truly the perfect backdrop for our workshop. So
yes.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
And a huge thank you to the Bulk Barn team for putting this all together, letting us be here today. Working with you guys was a dream come true. We had an absolute blast and we can't wait to do it all again soon. Make sure you're following the Bulk Barn for all of their new holiday posts and new announcements. We're gonna be doing a couple holiday platters for them as well, so follow along to see that there. And you have anything else?
That's all I have.
That's it. Yeah, follow us on Instagram for your platter inspo as well. Like, we're gonna be doing holiday platters all season long, so yeah, you can come back and create this and look for new inspiration as well.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Take care, everybody.